the special relationship between sound and light, and the problem. Somebody sent me a private message yesterday through YouTube, and they asked, is it really all about sound? And they were talking about some other scientists that have proposed a type of music healing system. And I use the word system deliberately because it's a Western term, and it's often used by Westerners regarding the non-Western meditation training in the Qigong or alchemy as Adon. They'll talk about different systems. And the problem is that Western science was founded on the idea that time can be contained as a symmetric squaring, or what they call geometric mean. And so the number one is literally considered a geometric magnitude as the continuum. And so it's actually one square. And as an area for a geometric real number continuum line. And so when we say the real numbers are like a thicker infinity or a greater infinity than the integers, then we're assuming that numbers are contained within a two-dimensional geometry. And as math professor Luigi Borzacchini points out, the continuum has never been proven logically, and this is a paradox that Cantor, the mathematician George Cantor, struggled with, and he wished he had gone into music. And then of course Kurt Gödel made this proven that mathematical proofs themselves are dependent on a type of faith or religion in the rules of the proof. And since math is considered the queen of the sciences, but itself it's not a science, it's the language of science. And yet now we know it's proven that Western math is from not just music but the wrong type of music. And this is proven in noncommutative phase math. And so what happens is people, scientists, they try to rely on music as to create a new system of medicine. And by saying system, they're still relying on the classical symmetric math. as my quantum mechanics professor, Herbert J. Bernstein, pointed out, the problem is people in high school, they take classical physics, and so they get brainwashed, they get mind controlled by the wrong mathematics when they learn the Pythagorean theorem and then take classical physics based on Pythagorean theorem. And so when we encounter the power of sound as a healing practice, what we're really talking about is a philosophy of complementary opposites. And the reason that it interacts with light is because light has no rest mass. So light, when they discovered that light was a photon, he himself was inspired by music, by the equal tempered music scale. And so his Planck's constant is the average energy of light as the logarithmic factor. So for music, the logarithm, it's actually the geometric mean of the scale as the devil's energy. And so this is the square root of 2 that is from cubing 9/8. And 9/8 is from your second interval, which is derived from 9/4, which is halved back in the octaves. 9/8 and 9/4 is squaring the perfect fifth is 3 halves. And so we find this same when we discovered quantum mechanics again, we discovered that the probability of the position is from the momentum that's due to the frequency of the energy as emitted light. And so once again we're having the probabilities from squaring the amplitude, and the amplitude as a vector is based on the particles. So it's from and so in classical physics you can have a superposition of the vectors. And then the issue is that information in Western science, ever since the Fourier analysis, the information is defined by the square wave, assuming that since it's a non-commutative over time and frequency, then we know for sure that the electron is actually inherently non-local in the fifth dimension. And so it's what they call delocalized with the proton. And so it's 1/2 spin that's the origin of reality as the infinite, or as the eternal time and frequency as motion. And so science has said that there is negative time, reverse time, but it's only at the quantum level. But they're ignoring the non-commutative phase, and non-commutative is not limited to the quantum scale. So non-western meditation is saying that this is all macro quantum resonance for the whole body. So the music isn't defined by Western science.